Saying yes to experiences and opportunities is the best way to change your life. If you're unhappy living life day to day, saying yes can be the method to kick you out of your comfort zone. I experienced this myself, and through saying yes to way more things than I ever have, I became happier, more confident, and figured out who I really am. In this video, I'm going to show you the benefits of saying yes and when to strategically say no. The most important benefit of saying yes is finding new opportunities. No one is going to knock on your door and give you what you want. You actually need to go out and find it. Taking on this mentality of just say yes can help you do things that you would normally resist doing. And I'm not talking about jumping out of a plane or anything like that. I'm talking about going out with your colleagues after work, or taking that pottery class that you've always wanted to do. It doesn't have to be huge things, but a lot of us are living a life where we aren't saying yes to pretty much anything. We're just doing the same thing day in, day out. Go to work, come home, throw together a meal or order in, watch TV or play video games until it's time to go to bed. And then when someone suggests something like a game night or going for a hike, we don't go because we don't feel like we have the energy. But the reason we don't have that energy is because we're so unmotivated from living in a rut. And one of the best ways out is to decide to just say yes. You never know what opportunities lie out in the world. But one thing is for sure, if you say no to everything and stay at home, none of those opportunities will find you. Going to that pottery class might lead you to finding your next partner or next best friend. Or you might find a real talent for pottery, and suddenly you have a new hobby that fulfills you. A few months ago, I went to my first networking event and I went alone. I was really nervous, and it turned out it was only okay. But I met some really interesting people, and I met a potential future client there as well. I don't want to give you the impression that saying yes once will solve all of your problems, but at least it puts you out there. And what's one of the scariest aspects of putting yourself out there? Oh, but you know what I love about failure? The more you do it, the more you realize failure is not that bad. We seem to all have this fear of failing at something that we've never even done before. It's as if we assume we need to be perfect before even trying something. I know I've struggled with this a lot in my life. Just remember, dude.
Sucking at something is the first step towards being sort of good at something.
It took me forever to even start writing my first screenplay after telling everyone that I wanted to be a screenwriter. And I actually missed an opportunity because of that. But that's a story for another video. By saying yes to different activities you've never done before, or maybe never even had an interest in, you're very likely going to fail, and that's totally fine. By failing at things again and again, you come to find that it's not the end of the world, especially in this realm. Sometimes trying is all you need to do. If you enjoyed the activity, then hey, you just found a new hobby or a new interest. And absolutely worst case scenario, if it totally sucked, you can just cross off whatever it was and never do it again. And that's totally fine. Then go out and say yes to the next opportunity. By going out more and trying new things, being in new uncomfortable situations, you will build more confidence. One of the biggest barriers that's holding us back is our minds preparing us for what is most likely a very unrealistic worst case scenario. Annoyingly, the only way to get over it is to actually go out and experience it and see that it's not actually that bad. I like to use this example from my own life. When Corona hit, I decided to start driving to work instead of taking public transportation. And before I started, I would freak myself out imagining all these scenarios about using the acceleration lane on the Autobahn. All I could think of was not being able to get up to the right speed before the lane ended and then having to merge into busy traffic. I made myself crazy imagining all the different types of scenarios, but then I actually did it and I never got into that situation. The more I drove to work, the more confident I became. Not only because I was driving more, but also because I realized the situations that I had thought up in my mind never actually came to pass. And the same goes for that party that you think is going to suck because you don't know anyone there, or the job interview, or talking to your crush. Confidence comes from doing things again and again, and realizing they either go better than you thought they would, or that even when they don't go so well, it isn't the end of the world. So if you just say yes, you gain experience that leads to confidence. Most of us are going through the motions when living life. It's the whole wake up, work, eat, TV, sleep cycle that is just horrible for our mental health. And of course, once you're in that rut, it's hard to get out. I know from experience that when you're in that situation, the last thing you're thinking of is what new hobbies or activities you could partake in. So making that decision to just say yes when a friend asks you to hang out or join in a hobby can be the first step to get out of that rut. That's what helped me last year. Another person would suggest things to do and I would just say yes to everything. And before I knew it, I was suggesting things for us to do and coming up with things to do on my own. Suddenly, I wasn't stuck in that mindless loop anymore and actually wanted to go out, meet new people, and try new things. The more you say yes to things, the more you know what to say no to. And that's just as important. I know that I personally will never want to jump out of a plane. I don't care if it meant I could model for Boss, I am not jumping out of a plane. But there were also things that I had to do in order to know that I didn't like them. Like playing video games online with friends of a friend. I felt super uncomfortable the entire time, but now I know that that is just not an activity for me. Or when I played flag football. It was fun, the people were great, but I just realized it wasn't my kind of sport. I don't regret the months that I spent playing, but it's just not something that I would do again. And you don't have to say yes to every single thing that comes up. That would be a plot for like a really dumb movie. But what you should do is listen to that voice in your head when it says, I should do that. I remember once I came home from being out and thinking that I would just spend the rest of the day on the couch because I had already been out that day. But something in my head said, why? What rule is there that you can only go out once a day? You're bored, go for a walk. Take your camera. And I said yes to that. And what resulted from that walk was one of my favorite photos of all time. Also, it's really important to be realistic when saying yes. There's a difference between not going out with your friends because you have work to do or something else important, and rather staying at home, scrolling on your phone. Also, if someone suggests going on a trip that you can't afford, that's unrealistic too. As great as that trip might be, you shouldn't go into debt because of it. So the next time you find yourself being bored with life and just doing things that give you no joy, try saying yes more often. You might be surprised what wonders the world can hold if you just expand your horizons just a little. Thank you for watching. See you next week for the final video of the alphabet superset. Peace.